know when you're ready. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's Tasha B.
And Taylor D.
And we are How to Be Real.
How to be real. How to be real.
All right, so today, why don't you go ahead and introduce our topic, Miss Tay?
Yes, I shall. Thank you, Miss Taj. Today we are talking about knowledge versus a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So what is our stance on the importance of a degree versus the importance of knowledge? Or
Yes.
if there is a huge difference, a slight difference, and kind of just our opinions on that.
Yeah,
So,
basically like if it matters, if college matters.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter,
Right.
but at the same time, I think we're living in a day and age where self-teaching is definitely something that
huge.
it's really easy. Like I
It's
know
huge.
I do this like really multiple times a week, sometimes even in a day, where you're like, okay, maybe it's a word, maybe it's a certain subject or a
Mhm.
certain animal or a
Right.
certain just law that you don't really have any knowledge of, and you can just look it up and go to multiple, resources and websites and
Mhm.
blogs and shoot, even Facebook. You can
Yeah.
ask a lot of people
Yep.
on there, just, hey, what's this? Does anybody know anything about this? How can I learn more about this? And you can teach yourself things.
I mean, shoot, Tasha and I, we're about to start this thing on Periscope called The Weekly Reel, hashtag The Weekly
tune in,
Reel.
guys, Periscope.
Right. I think, what days are we doing this on? Thursdays? Right now it's Thursdays.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right now it's Thursdays. We haven't had like a set time yet, but we'll have it for you next time. But anyways, just to bring that full circle, we, where was I going with that?
Oh, basically about self-teaching. So, like, I mean, you can turn
Self-teaching.
to multiple different places. Like I
Right.
said, blogs, videos, Periscope.
What we're doing, right, and what we're doing on the Periscope is trying to teach on cooking. We're gonna do cooking and experiences.
Yeah,
and
all
tonight,
experiences.
right, and tonight we're gonna try and do a little what was it? Chicken
Little
wraps.
lettuce wrap.
Right, chicken or turkey lettuce wraps. And like we totally got the idea from seeing all the videos that you scroll through on Facebook,
Mhm.
and they have all the little video cooking tutorials and stuff. I saw one for mochi brownies.
Woo! We gonna try that.
Mochi
We
brownies.
trying that because if we have the little lettuce wraps, we gotta have a dessert.
Right.
No,
So the self-teaching is huge these days.
it's very huge.
And I definitely think that having a degree does not equal having knowledge.
Yeah, because I think Tay can attest to this as well. But I've been in certain actual jobs where the position that I'm in does include people who have their degree, and it made me feel. I don't know. How did it make you feel, Tay, to see someone you're working with? They're not only older than you, but they have their masters and they went to Sac State
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's exactly. I was in HR and in human resources, and the lady who I was working for, she was like in her 60s and in her early 60s, and she couldn't retire because of all the market
Economy
crash stuff.
and
Right.
everything.
Lost her whole savings or had to like live off of her 401k for a while, and she had all these certificates and these HR trainings and all this stuff, right? She's like the HR manager and I was the HR coordinator, and it made me feel like, dang, I do not want to be doing this. Like, if when I'm 60 something years old, I don't want to be in this office doing this. And if this is where a degree gets me,
Yeah.
then what's the point? Like, is this, first off, I didn't know if that was her passion or if she was just doing it just because
This is what she's been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what she's known. And I felt like a lot of people who are that age, kind of are used to that, like falling into the status quo, like kind of just doing what is told of them, what the American standard
Even
is.
our parents, so like the
yes.
year old people, they lived like that. Like I know my mom, she worked at the same place for 17, 18 years, and she didn't necessarily like what she was doing or where she was working. Now, granted, my mom's really good at math, so she kind of used that, and she was an accountant. But at the same time, it's like, this isn't her passion. It's just something she's good at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And she was just, told that she had kids to raise, she had bills to pay, and that she needed to do whatever she had to do to pay those bills.
Right.
And I think that with our generation, it's more so about being happy and
Definitely.
being fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I just think that that the go to college to make your life, you're nothing if you don't have a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is starting to die down because people are starting to realize that you don't necessarily have to do it.
Right.
To do what you love, you don't necessarily have to have a degree with someone else's name above yours to make you feel more, I don't know, distinguished or whatever. So, I mean, granted, going to college is a great way to find yourself. It's a great way to gain knowledge. But if you're one of those people who just doesn't like school, or if you're one of those people who just kind of feels like, I don't really know what I want to do yet, so I don't want to rack up a whole bunch of debt, switching majors and all that. I think self-teaching is a good way to go, at least until you know, because then it can always help to supplement and take maybe some classes, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely wouldn't mind taking a couple journalism classes or taking a bunch of video editing classes or, you know, just some classes, but
not going to let that degree define my life and my version of success.
Yes.
Like, I don't think any one material object should do that for you. I mean, I feel like going to college can definitely, I feel like if you go to college and you retain the information that you get, you know, you don't just memorize it and
take the test and it's gone.
Right, and take the test and just whatever. I you know, cram study the night before, don't remember anything except just to get through this test, you know. I feel like there's no point in that, because if you are somebody who doesn't go to college, I mean, look at freaking, I know this is kind of cliche, but look at Steve Jobs, okay?
Right.
Look at Steve Jobs. He dropped out of college. And I feel like, okay, that's a man who took the knowledge he had, retained it, applied it to real life experiences, and made it wisdom, which means that he was able to make a profit off of it, do what he loved, and continue doing that until the day that he died, and like became like an icon, somebody who's going to go down in history for changing the world.
To even like bring
technology.
To bring it closer to, I don't know, I guess closer to home for people, think of Mark Zuckerberg. He dropped out of school as well, and now Facebook. He is probably one of the richest people right now. And, you know, he didn't even really, I mean, Steve Jobs was a genius, don't get me wrong, but I think Mark Zuckerberg kind of just, I don't know, I feel like he just came up with one website, and that one website that he came up with, it was just that lightning in a bottle idea that just it took off. And now look how big Facebook is. I honestly, you know, I remember a time where I thought Facebook was stupid, and I was like, why does anyone have a Facebook? And now it's like the first thing I do in the morning is get on Facebook and find out the news, what's going on, who died, you know what I mean? What holiday is it today? It's National Donut Day today. You know what I mean? It's like Facebook is real life, and people who, you know, don't have a Facebook, you know, I don't know, like my mom, one of her friends freaking was in the one of her friend's sisters was in the hospital. My mom had no idea because she doesn't really get on Facebook like that. She's not connected. But I knew, you know what I mean? I knew, and I told her the news about her friend, and she was like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know. I haven't been on Facebook in a long time." So it's like, it keeps you in the know, and I think it's weird, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's kind of a bad thing, but that just goes to show you that it's up to you. You know what I mean? College isn't gonna make you a winner if you're a loser.
It's not gonna build your life if you don't, especially if you don't use it right. You know, I feel like a lot of the times, school, college courses, like the way that America goes about school, should I say, definitely. It makes it so that you kind of fall in line and you follow rules. Like, it teaches you how to follow rules, how to follow everybody else and what everybody else is doing. Because when you think about it, the American dream that people talk about, it consists of, you know, so many years, 13 years of school, just to get your high school diploma, then 4 years on top of that if you graduate college and get your bachelor's in 4 years, because the average person gets it in 5 to 6, and that's what, at least 17 years altogether. And then, you know, like you were saying, these days, just to get your bachelor's, just to stop there at 17 years of school, of just falling in line, just to stop there, I mean, the bachelor's isn't even considered as highly as it was anymore.
Exactly. It's like, just like the associates. Associates used to be, okay, cool, you have your associates, your entry level, let's go. Get you a job. But now it's like, you have your associates, we need you to go back and get your bachelor's. Right. And then, you know, now even the bachelor's, things are so competitive that it's like, oh, this whole stack of resumes. They all have their bachelor's.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that, couple people that have their master's is like, oh, wow, you have your master's? Come on, we'll interview you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it, like you said, the falling in line. And you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who end up graduating from college and then saying, now what? Like, I have a friend who just graduated from Sac State with her bachelor's degree, and she joined the military. And it's like, you still, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't imagine doing something like that. It's like, okay, yeah, you have this degree and you're joining the military. It's like, how limited are your options to where that's something that you did? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. You
like,
could have did that without going to college and saved yourself a lot of grief.
That's true. I mean, I do know that I think if you have your degree when you go into the military, I think
it's
you can
higher rank.
Yeah, higher rank, higher pay. But like you said, like if you just went into basic
you
and
could have
then
worked your way up to that.
Worked your way up. Yeah, and then also had the military pay for school.
Exactly. so it's like, in a way, it's like, okay. And that kind of was a real eye-opener for me, because it makes me think like, okay, even though people have degrees, it doesn't mean that they have everything figured out.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people, especially high school kids, get a lot of things confused. Because I know when I was in high school, I thought of 22 as an age where, okay, cool, you can hit the ground running now. You've been in college for X amount of years. You have your life figured out. Your career is about to be started. And now I'm 22 and I'm thinking like, dude, I have no idea still. Like, I know exactly what I like doing.
Yeah.
Things like this.
Definitely.
This is my passion. It feels really good to, be on camera and be able to relate to some people and pass on some knowledge and, even interact with people would be great to have, my own show where I can actually one-on-one with somebody. But we're starting.
We definitely are starting.
Definitely
are starting. And I feel like that's where you can't do anything if you don't start it.
Exactly.
Exactly. You definitely want to do that because it's important to find your passion and to do what makes you happy and to not try and limit yourself on a piece of paper to try and tell you how much you know and how much you're worth and what's your success, because I feel like that's just another form of the lies that are put into this institution to build, tear us down.
Even the whole grading system. It's like, everyone takes the same test, and
even though people learn billions of different ways,
you get graded on the same scale, and it's like everyone is a genius. But what's that saying? It's like if you grade a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it's gonna go through its whole life thinking it's retarded because they can't climb trees. Just like, there are people who are really good at math, and then there are people who are really good at English, and there are a lot of people who have a passion for history or science or whatever. And whatever it is that you want to do, you shouldn't be limited. And that's another downfall of, the college kind of atmosphere, to where you're limited to, you can only pick out of these choices what classes you want to take. And then those classes have a teacher, and that teacher's teaching things in a biased way. And I mean, a lot of them don't want to be biased and they don't try to be biased, but they are, because, when you're teaching something, you have an idea of it in your head. You have your mind made up about that subject already. So then when you pass on that knowledge, it's kind of just a one feed type of thing, to where you're getting it's one source. You're getting your news from this one person, and they're telling you to read this, and they're telling you to read that. They're telling you, you know what I mean? Then you're responding to these things, and if it's not right, then you get a bad grade. And it's, I mean, I learned a lot. I went to school for 2 years. I went to ARC. And I learned a lot. I'm not going to lie. And I think the majority of what I took away from it was that I wasn't going to be a person that went to school all full time, and I wasn't going to be just a student. I never really liked school like that in the first place. And it just kind of taught me that, granted, I learned a lot. I took journalism classes and stuff, so I definitely learned a lot. But the way that it was, it's like, you can't just get in there and just learn what you want to learn. It's kind of like, okay, you like journalism, but you got to take these math classes. You got to take these classes. It's general ed. You have to take it. And it's like, what if I just am not interested in that? What if I'm not good at this, and I know I'm not, which is why I didn't pick it. So why do I have to take this? I'm not going to be good, and now I'm stressed out.
That's a good
because I have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm stressed. I'm not interested in the subject, or maybe I'm just really not good at it.
I think, that's a great point. I too was in school for 2 years. I went away. I stopped at ASU due to the also, again, kind of cliche, money issues of school and stuff like that. Money issues in America, the cliche for Americans, right. should I say. But I really, okay, so let me jump on that. Because honestly, I feel like if school was free, like if we had free education.
Or even like, just affordable education.
Just like affordable. Because seriously, 10,000... They were asked, okay, I don't know about y'all, but they were trying to ask me and my mom, we're a single parent household, me and my mom, and they were trying to ask us to pay $10,000 at the end of a, 9-10 month period? Mm-hmm. Like, or else they wouldn't release my transcripts. So of course I'm going to withdraw. Like I at least would like to go to school, like have the opportunity to go to school. Because if you don't withdraw, if they don't let go of your transcripts, you can't get any of your classes transferred. So it was just like, okay, am I going to choose freaking frying pan or the fire? Pretty much, you know? Yeah. And I feel like that has a lot to do with why school's also discouraging to a lot of people, because they don't want to put that burden on their family, and they don't want to go into debt and jump on that wheel that people are running right now. Most middle class is being torn apart. Like that's like they're trying to make that gap between the upper class and the lower class huge. They're trying to have no middle class. Yeah. And they're doing very well with these school loans by doing that.
Exactly.
By getting that accomplished.
And it's like, it's putting that idea of, oh, you need to go to college if you want to be better. So all the middle class kids, that's what we're drilled. We're drilled into our head. Graduate, go to college, go to college, go to college. If you don't go to college, everyone's looking at you. Like,
right. Take that loan. Sign that loan. Exactly. Get that money. Do what you need to do to get that money.
And it's ridiculous, because then you get these people, not only do you have to stress out while you're in school, because you're in school full time, but at the same time, financial aid, they don't want to give you diddly. Okay. They don't want to give you anything. Okay. So you have to try to work full time as well.
Right.
And, some people even have kids. And so you're working full time. You're a parent and you're a student full time, and you're stressing yourself out. And then depending on your major, you probably have to do some interning or some community service hours.
Or else you won't have any experience.
Just to graduate.
Right.
Sometimes it's not even just the experience. It's to graduate. You have to have so many hours just to get your degree. So it's like, you wanted these people to stress out. Their early 20s, they're just stressed. And then it's all for, a job where I'm making $15 to $20 an hour. And hopefully, now I have this $60,000+ loan that I have to pay off.
And I pray that I'm able to get a job that I got my degree in.
Exactly.
Hopefully you're able to get a job that you get a degree in. But knowing all that stress and all the stuff that was going, you have to you got bills to pay now. Yep. So, I mean, you're in the real world now, and you like we were talking about the experience. Yeah, you got all these hours of your externship or your internship, whatever, but it's not enough. It's not considered enough experience to get the dream job that you've went to college for.
You end up still having to start down here and work your way up that corporate ladder.
Right.
And, I mean, personally, to me, I feel like it makes more sense to start down here early and say, you know what, maybe I'll do this and have my degree, or be going to school part-time, take a couple classes here and there, take a couple summer school classes just to get things going. And I mean, that's what my mom did when she was working, and that's how she has her master's. But she did it over, like, it took her a long time. Like, she started when I was in elementary school, and she finally got her master's, I think, when I was like a senior. So it was a lot. It took her a lot.
I think that's also something, because I feel like school learning, like getting true knowledge that you can apply and create wisdom with, I feel like that's important. Becoming an intelligent human being, I feel like that's important. But having to cash out and spend all your energy and not being able to even get what you truly want, not being able to have or find your happiness, that I don't know. And it's not even the true knowledge and the true wisdom and the true intelligence that they're teaching you in there that you need for real world application. A lot of it, people I can't tell you how many people who I have in my life who've said that their degree is just something that that's hanging on their wall.
Yeah.
For right now.
Yeah. Somebody told me that their degree is a $60,000 piece of artwork in their house. Yeah.
Where?
It's framed. It's on the wall. It's a $60,000 piece of artwork that I purchased. And it's like, you know, you gained experience. You have experiences. College is fun. You know, don't get me wrong. I've been to a few college
good
parties.
social,
you know
teaches
I mean?
you great social skills, I think.
And then there's, you know, like sororities and fraternities get you in there and get you some connections. And that's definitely something that's great. And I'm not here to knock college, but I do want to present the realities of just the way things are. Like Tay said, the middle class is being torn apart by this very structure. This very system right here is tearing the middle class apart, because the little bit of money that we can scrape together is getting, and it's getting just kind of taken away. And then at the same time, you're paying this money, and then like you said, the school still is like, oh, well, we need $10,000 or you ain't getting your transcripts. Right. Even though you paid your tuition, even though you took those classes, you did the work and you got the grade, where we have it, and you need to pay us if you want it. Pretty much. Just to progress. You know, you're not trying to go to our school anymore. Yeah. You just want your transcripts. You just want your hard work. Yeah. The documents of your hard work. That's all you want, and we're not giving it to you unless you give us $10,000.
Pay me. You got the pay me.
And it's just ridiculous to me. It's almost like extortion. Like, you know, you want
for real. It's like legal extortion.
It's like, how is this even legal? You guys want us to pay all this money. It's just ridiculous.
Hashtag Bernie Sanders 2016.
Yes. Okay, we said it. We endorsed
it. We said it. Dang.
We feeling the burn. We're feeling the burn.
Jeez. So, whatever.
Yeah, I think
because free education. And honestly, just making that simple thing to be free. And if you didn't if people didn't make jobs, if they could spread out how long you can get your degree, like how you said your mom, it took her a while to get her master's. If that was okay, it is okay, but if that was if they weren't, the norm, if they weren't pushing 4-year college, and anybody who doesn't do that, you are a failure. Can you just let us know that as long as we're learning and getting something that we're going to be all right? Because the reality is that we will, and we are going to be okay. We going to be all right. Hey, we going to be all right. Okay.
So, and even not free education, but even when I went to ARC, you know, it was $300 for the semester. And, you know, the books were expensive, so it's better to go used.
Always.
But even that, you know what I mean? It's a little expensive. It's pricey. But I'd much rather spend $300 a semester than $10,000 or, you know, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, because you know every single year they try to raise it. Every year. It never fails. There's always a protest in Davis or a protest at Sac State because they're trying to raise the tuition. And not only are they raising tuition, but they're cutting certain majors as well. And it's okay, where's this money going? You guys are getting so much money, and then you're still calling alumni for money. And it's you're getting all this money. Yes. Why is the education not as good as it should be?
Right. Thank you. And I just feel yes, one, it would be so easy to make affordable affordable education. Where am I? And then
and healthcare. Shoot, we all know.
And healthcare, yeah. But I feel they could it's so attainable to make free education. Instead of spending all that money on war, or even just why are we cutting back education systems in high school? Why are we cutting classes freaking calculus? I was at Sac High and they cut calculus. How you cut calculus? Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's not just happening in high schools. It's happening in our community colleges here in Sacramento. Yep. It's happening in the Bay Area. Freaking Oakland is getting gentrified to a quarter of its life right now. So it's I feel America just needs to prioritize. We need to get our priorities straight.
They need to get out of the corporate pocket. All the big corporations, that's where America is. It's America is swaying with them. What do they need? Oh, they need more money. They need a corporate bailout. Oh, they need this bank to not fail because all of their stock and all their money for their company is in this bank. This bank cannot fail. Instead of saying, oh, our youth cannot fail.
Right.
Our healthcare, these people cannot die from curable diseases only because they don't have healthcare. Just because I don't have $1,000 to pay, Breaking Bad. It's the perfect example of American life. This man gets cancer and starts cooking meth. A chemistry teacher.
Tasha just started watching Breaking Bad, y'all.
No, I started rewatching it because it's a really good. But
it's great.
No, for real. If you haven't seen it, please watch it because it's the perfect example of how really fucked up things are right now. Like, this man really was like, I have no options. If I die, my wife isn't gonna be able to pay the mortgage. She just had a baby. You know what I mean? I cannot die right now. I have
middle
to support
class
my
family.
Middle class. He was a teacher. She was a bookkeeper. Middle class. And, you know, it's
one of the most popular shows in America in like the past 5 years.
Because it's real. It's real. Stamp it. It is real. Because, I mean, shoot, I couldn't imagine. You're seeing them with all this money, and it's really crazy. It says a lot. You know, there's been a war on drugs for, I don't know, since Ronald Reagan, there's been a war on drugs. And yet, I could still walk out of the door and be like, hey, y'all, where's Molly? And get some Molly in my hand in like 30 minutes. There's no war on drugs. It's not real. It's not real. It's a war on the urban communities. That's what it is. Break it down. So, I mean, I hate to get deep and way off topic, but that's just the reality of things. If you look at the statistics, it'll show you who's been arrested with the drug crimes and who's in jail for 20 years for having a gram of weed on them. It's just, it shows you. It shows you right there. And I mean, it's classic discrimination. It's not just black people. It's everyone who's not white. That's really what it boils down to. And even some white people, you know, it's just the urban, like you said, middle class and low class communities that get this flack. They get this bullshit, honestly. It's like, you know, oh, you don't have money. They treat you like something's wrong with you. When really, it's just circumstance. And that's the only difference between us and them is circumstance. You know what I mean? A kid that's
opportunity, man.
Exactly. Opportunity and circumstance. Your circumstances may limit your opportunities. And that's exactly what we're trying to come out of. Yeah. And the sooner that we realize that the answer is to go into business for ourselves and not invest in them. And
for any even small things, like, I mean, shoot, our communities need these to be sold. We don't always have to go to Walmart to get these. We like fake plants too. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, we need to start making freaking businesses selling screws, selling hammers, selling lumber, everything. Like, even us, shoot. That's why How to Be Real's branding is coming up, okay? We're starting here, and we're starting to practice what we preach. You know what I mean? We want to practice what we preach because that's what it takes to grow the humanity, to become the world that we're talking about, to become real.
So back to the education.
Right. Education.
Where that comes in is, I honestly don't believe, and if you feel differently, please comment and hit me up and let me know what's really good with your college experience. But they teach you things, and they kind of just like the real fucked up thing that I just mentioned, how it's kind of like the inequity and just like the kind of stuff about America that's like, this don't make no damn sense. How evil is this shit? They kind of just like, oh, and then there's this about America. But anyway, back to this. And they kind of just like put it out back there. To Love and Hip Hop. And they don't really tell you, there's no call to action. There's no, hey, so that's why we need to do this. Right. You know what I mean? I had one teacher like that, and she was kind of like that, but she worked for Sacramento News and Review, and she was a really good teacher, my journalism teacher. And
shout out.
She was good about talking about those whistleblowers and the people who kind of blow that whistle on the corruption that's going on. The people who run to the newspapers like, hey, they ain't right. And I'm telling you right now, they're not. Here's the knowledge. Here's what I found out. Here's the corruption. Here's the evidence. Go ahead and press. Tell the people what's going on. And so, you know, while media does get a lot of flack, I think the discrediting of media it kind of works in the powers that be. It kind of works in their favor to where people hear something and they're like, oh, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Oh, that's nothing. And it's easy to be brushed off because you know a lot of things have happened and the media is false or the media is only telling one side of the story. And yeah, that's true too. But at the end of the day, the media is the voice of the people. Yeah, and you know what I mean. The college, when you're in college, they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna call you to action and tell you like, hey, we need to start buying land. We need to start growing our own food. We need to start being less dependent on this system because we all know it's common knowledge that the system isn't working. It's common knowledge. And if you're in college or not in college, you know that the system isn't working.
And we have the power. As the people, we have the power. So if we all like get together and say school needs to be like this, they will change it to be like that.
Exactly. If people say, you know what, we ain't going to go to school. We ain't fucking with school. We'll make our own schools before we pay for your school.
Because girl, yes.
That's what I'm
Yes!
just saying. You know what I mean? I will go to grandma's house and ask her what she's known living all this
Okay.
74 years on this earth. I will talk to her because I'm sure.
should we
Now,
record
while I
like
can't
a
get my
little
law
intro?
degree by grandma, I'm
Yeah.
sure I can
Right.
learn something.
Right. And just to bring it all back around, that self-teaching, being
Yeah.
able to self-teach and self-educate and is just so important to all of you guys who are out there grinding, getting your degree. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
You know, do your thing because you're really holding it down for the community. But remember to come back to the community. Remember to use that knowledge. Remember to apply that knowledge and
Because
make it
remember what
wisdom
Carlisha
for
was
everyone.
saying, they kind of create that elitist mentality while you're in college. And she was saying, Carlisha's our friend. We had her on episode 1 or 2?
2.
We had
first
her,
guest.
Yeah, she was on episode 2. She goes to Berkeley right now. She's a student, and she's from Sacramento, so she's representing.
Ooh.
And she was basically telling us that while you're there, you know, she's new. I think this was her first year, right?
Yes.
And she was saying that the young Black college students there that have been there for maybe, you know, a year or two more than her, they kind of had this mentality of like, oh, I'm better than you, and this uppity kind of attitude to where they do, you know what I mean? She said they feel kind of removed from their own people. And they try to like kind of make you feel like, oh, now that you have this piece of paper, or maybe you don't even got your piece of paper yet, but because you're in school working towards this piece of paper, now you're us. And they try to, you know, brainwash you and kind of make you feel like, oh, people in college. And it's like, you know, now I have to look down at you. Now you aren't my people. And it's that disconnect. And like Tay said, it's important to come back to your communities and give back.
Yep.
And
apply that knowledge.
And
apply that
knowledge,
stuff
and
you've
not
been
even
learning.
apply it, but just pass it on. You know,
Please.
something that you know
Yes.
helps somebody. If you know what I mean? You learn everything about taxes, come back and help your people with their taxes. Show them what they're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Show them how they can do things better. And I think it's something that, you know, in all my 2 years in college, no one ever told me like, hey, it's important to own property. It's important to know how to grow your own food. It's important, you know, and those things are really, really important. It's very important. If my mom didn't own the place that she's on right now, I wouldn't have anywhere to live. So it's real.
It is. And after you get your degree, don't stop learning. Keep learning.
Exactly.
Keep educating yourself.
And even if you're not in college, learn.
If you're not in school,
wake up and learn.
Keep educating yourself. Keep reading. Keep
There's
talking to each other.
There's so many apps. There's so many. There's the internet. It's infinite. There's infinite information on
I'm learning
there.
French right now. Duolingo app.
Exactly. And you can learn
Duolingo.
any language on there. And
Any
even if you don't
it's
want to learn
really
a
good
language,
app.
if you want to learn about insects, if you want to learn about history, if you want to learn about geography, if you want to learn about marine life, you can really learn about whatever you want. So it is very important for you to keep the knowledge growing, never stop growing,
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
And even that knowledge, it even goes to within. Keep yourself, learn about yourself. You know,
that's the most
we
important
all
one.
have
I'm just
something
getting
to learn
Periscope.
about who we are. And I mean, I learn something new about myself every day with every situation I'm placed in. It's like, oh shoot, I never knew I would react like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get turned and you go to the club and you're like, dang, I never knew I felt that way. So and so said I said this. God dang, who knew? I didn't know I hated people like that. No. But for real, it's really important to know yourself and to keep knowing yourself and keep growing yourself. So.
Right. Well, just like last time, we are gonna there we go, Periscope our way out of here.
Out of here, guys.
So as always, you can catch us on howtobereal.wordpress.com. Of course, on Instagram, I am justsay_tay.
And I'm Tasha B, 2 A's in Tasha, 3 E's in B.
Yes. And of course, find us on Facebook, How to Be Real. What else
Give us
are we
that
on?
thumbs up if you like it.
Please, por favor. And what else are we on, girl? We on the Twitter thing. We are on the Twitter
on
thing.
Twitter, and you know the Twitter handle better than I do.
At
kinda weird.
HWTBRL. How to Be Real.
So basically, how to be real without the vowels.
Right.
On Twitter, that's us.
Right. So,
And then also
Thank you, guys.
Periscope. As you know,
yeah,
we're
Periscope.
Periscoping right now. We're How to Be Real on Periscope.
right. Same as Twitter.
It's on the Twitter, so if you scroll through our Twitter, you'll see our Periscope on there. Just
Hey,
check
what's
us out. We
yes,
follow back.
please. Yeah, we will holler back. And of course, always tell us how you feel about what we've been saying.
Yeah,
Tell us
definitely.
how you feel about what's your take on getting a degree.
Yeah,
what's
your
take
college
on
experience or
Yeah.
your self-teaching or your
Yes.
self-made millionaire
Right.
story. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Or, send us something on our website, on our blog.
Shouts out to Soul Collective and
Of course.
Radio Soul.
And Radio Soul, of course, on SoundCloud.
Armin and Estrella, and of course, Sal and
Of course,
Uncle Sal.
Sal the gal. Uncle Sal. All right, y'all.
signing out.